Stop making me laugh. It's all your fault. Okay. Okay, I will not laugh. I will not laugh. All right. Nor will I. All right, here we go. Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you've arrived at day 53 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2020. Thank you all so much for being with me today. It means the world. Many greetings from Oklahoma and my family to all of you all over the world. Thank you for joining us today. Today, I want to be complete and total relaxation and zen. We are going to do my very favorite pattern of all time, Flux. I can get into a zen mode so fast doing Flux that it's ridiculous. Flux can be done in so many different ways. So let's talk about Flux. Most of us know this version of Flux. This is Rick Roberts' version. Rick Roberts, one of the founders of the Zentangle Method. The other version is by Maria Thomas, the other founder of the Zentangle Method. And Flux goes like this. It's a teardrop shape in the form that we're all familiar with. And Rick likes to draw his line up and put his little dots. And this is the version that you are most familiar with. You can use it as a border. You can stick it in a fill pattern. You can do all kinds of things with Flux, okay? You will see Flux in many, many, many forms, and we've done several forms, and you've seen me draw them in to fill patterns. For example, I wanted to show you this. I'm about to embarrass my little boy, who's not so little anymore, but I was drawing Take Heart the other day. Go away. Yes. I was drawing Take Heart the other day, and I was thinking about putting these on a pop socket and having them on my merchandise shelf for you guys if you wanted them. You know, the pop sockets are the little buttons you put on the back of your phone that pop up that help you hold on to them, and those are meaningful to me. And those of us with arthritis in particular, because it allows us to have a more comfortable hand position while holding it. So I was playing with this the other night, and Mari was coming in to read with me, and I showed him this little bookmark thing where I had a bunch of samples of different ways we could handle it. And as you can see here, I handed it to him, and I asked him which one of those that he liked the best. And he looked at them, and he did his cute Mari teasing, none of them kind of a thing. And, you know, giving me the hand, you know, that means not, this hand, you know, And he said, none of these. Can I show you? And I said, sure. And he grabbed a pen, and this is what he drew. And I don't think I need to say any more words. Because I love my son. And I will forever, ever remember this. I love him so much. So anyway, I had to share that with you guys because you guys know just how much that means. Anyway, back to Flux. Now that I'm crying. All right, so most of us are very familiar with this Flux, and if you are new to Zentangle, if you are one of those who have made comments that you have just started in the last few weeks, or 3 days ago, or whenever you have started, then I want you to learn this version of Flux. It is done with a teardrop shape. And you can point this in different directions. You can bunch them up together to make a flower. You can do anything with Flux. And that is why it's one of my very favorite patterns. In its wildest form, it can be turned all different ways, and this is the form that was most attractive to my organic mind. And what I love to do is just fill a tile with flux, going whatever direction, and then once you have put them together, in all of the little gaps, in all of the little blank spots, what we call interstices, this is where you put little orbs and then ink around them as the fill. And this is Rick Roberts' version of Flux. This is so zenful. It is such a joy to draw this because it's so simple and easy to do, and then you can just do whatever you want. So and you can leave these off, but they make it very dynamic. I'm doing something I shouldn't, which is drawing through the camera. This is what I want you to do if you're really new to Zentangle, because it's very simple and it will give you a Zen feel. All right, now if you're like me and this version of Flux is something you just love to draw, I'm going to challenge you to try Maria Thomas's version of Flux. Some of you commented that you didn't know there was a second version, and there is, and this is Maria Thomas's version. Now, she is a calligrapher and does many of these illuminated letters, manuscript type things that are so beautiful in calligraphy and different things. And she says that this is a very old fill pattern from that they use in illuminated letters. And that goes by drawing this shape, which is very, very Mucha-like. However, unlike Mucha, it doesn't come together at the top and then give you a slender tendril. The top is the same, but then you're going to want to go down like this. And the thing about Maria's version is then you're going to draw more of these and get progressively smaller. As you go. And then in the interstices and the little spaces, you fill those with orbs, ink around them. And there you have Maria's version. Now, I believe that this version is not as popular because of the extra effort you have to put into getting familiar with it, and it's a learning curve. This can be a continuous line tangle in this manner here. Hold on. See if I can do this. I'm not lifting my pen. Until the very end, okay? So this is Maria's version, and if you are a fan of the Rick Roberts version, what I want you to do today is challenge you to use Maria's version instead. You treat it the same way. You can put it wherever you want to. You can, start it from the bottom and turn it upside down or whatever you want to do, and then fill the little gaps, the interstices, with orbs and ink around them. Okay? So let's get to the drawing part where we can just enjoy our time together. So I am going to use a string today. And as we get prepared to draw and are putting our 4 penciled dots in the corner of our tile, I want you all to breathe with me. Take a deep breath. Take another one. Relax your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Relax your hold on your pencil so that you're barely gripping it in your fingers. Gently, gently. Then add your 4 dots in the corners. Okay, and then we're going to connect our 4 dots with a penciled line, and this can look like whatever you want. Now, Flux is an organic pattern, which means that lots of waves and curves and that kind of thing are going to work right in with it. So you may choose how you want to make your borders. I, of course, am going for my Maria Thomas version of a border. Curvy with a loop in the middle. Sometimes that loop goes out, sometimes not so much. Okay, so this is what I have to begin with. Now, I'm going to put in a string today. I'm going to use a traditional Z string that they teach in the very first lesson of Zentangle, in the Zentangle primer, as it happens. And so I'm just going to draw a division here in the shape of a Z. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. All right, and now I'm going to fill each section with a version of Flux. You can make it whatever, but I'm going to start with Maria Thomas's version because that is the version that I am not as comfortable doing. And so let's think how I want to do that. Let's start right here. And I think I'm going to, I don't know, it may be difficult for me, but I think I'm going to draw a great big one. Those longer strokes are difficult. Like this, okay? I can't do it continuous this large. I have to shift my hand too often. But smaller, that works just fine. This takes some practice, so give yourself time to do that. And you can see that I have filled this entire section with one large Flux strand or string or whatever I mean to say, one large section of Flux, Maria's Flux. Then I'm going to go back through here and ink. Whoops, I helped myself too much there, didn't I? Okay, I'm going to go back through here and ink in all of these spaces, adding little orbs where I can. Let's zoom. Adding little orbs where I can. I'm going to take my time and breathe. Thanks for being with me today. I want you guys to know here in the front of this video that I am answering comments sometimes in the back half of these. So if I have not answered a comment from you that's over a week or so old, it may be that I have answered it in one of the videos. So I just wanted to let you know. I am well aware that these are long and not everybody watches them to the end. About 25% of you watch them to the end, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Don't forget that you can watch these twice speed if you like, if that helps, because they are slow. But I've decided to leave them that way because I think the real-time interaction is very important to some people, and it doesn't make any difference to me either way. I'm recording the same thing, so just do what's best for you. If these are too slow for you and you just need to hurry through, that's understandable. Not everybody has an hour to spend, but an hour seems to be about where I have to keep it to fit everything in. And even then, on the longer ones, I'm speeding some of that up. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Yeah, we'll fix it. It's okay. It's okay. Take your time, Cindy. Breathe, Cindy. Relax your shoulders down, Cindy. I'm all up around my ears today. I thought I had physical therapy, so I got up, got showered, got dressed, went out. Come to find out, I don't know what I was doing yesterday. I made the appointment for next week. So, welcome to my world today. All right. I'm just destined to not get this right. I'm getting distracted here. Jelly roll will be making an appearance today for sure. Since number one, that'll look good on a tan or a gray tile. And number two, it will help me obscure my little line snafus here. I don't know why I'm having such a problem today. But I'm going to remind myself to breathe. So at each blank spot, oops, you're going to fill with orbs, ink around them. You can do that in whatever way you like. You can't get it wrong. If you do not want to try this version of Flux, you do not have to. But if you're an experienced tangler, then I encourage you to try this. It's not hard, but you do have to practice the initial form a bit to sort of get the hang of it. At least I did. You just draw it over and over until you get it to look the way you want it. All right, now let's see what we got. Okay, I like the way that looks. I'm going to add my touch. This is not in the step out. This is my thing. And you can do or not or whatever you want. It takes practice, just little hatch marks. Okay. Let's see. So on this section, I think I'm going to go back this way, and I'm going to do Rick's version back this way. So zen out with me, guys. Just big teardrop shapes and put them wherever you want. This fits into whatever space you've got so simply. This is how I set up my Flux borders. I start them all along the same line. And then tuck that back in. By the way, I am working on the whole camera angle thing. I know the last few days have been crazy. I'm working on it. I know it's been tough to see. Okay, so I've got that. Now, where do I want to go with this? So I think now I'm going to come from up here and just follow the shape of the string. And then I think I'm going to turn this one around. Getting him to do that can take a little practice. It can feel awkward in the beginning. The key to making these look right is to direct your center line so that it matches the curve of the Flux side, if that makes any sense at all. So let's put one here, and let's see, let's put another one right here. We'll just ignore that string right there. Okay, so now I'm just going to fill this in however I want with with Flux shapes. And if I have any stray lines, we'll fix those here in a bit. And if you want to tuck some from in behind others, you can. If you are comfortable with overlapping, that is always something you can do. I don't know what happened there. It's a great way to add some fun. Definitely visual interest. That was definitely interesting. I don't know why I can't get around there. Come over my string over here. And let's keep going. So I loved how many of you sent me comments letting me know how things are going where you're at. I meant to tell somebody something. Somebody said something. Oh, did I say this in another video? Somebody made the comment, I think it was Julia. I could be wrong. Made a comment about all of those things that we think in our heads, you say them out loud. Yeah, that's me. That is definitely me. I love that comment. And if I mentioned it before, I loved it twice. Okay. I love how wild this gets. I love being able to turn them whatever way I want to without, getting in trouble for it, if you will. I love the fact that I can just fill them in however I want to without any expectations about what it's going to look like. Just to sit back and relax and experience the zen of this pattern, whichever version you are using. It's very zenful. Filling in the little orbs and inking is zenful. I don't want you to worry about anything right now. I want you to take a deep breath, relax. Remember, you're not in it alone. You are not forgotten. We're gonna get it. We're gonna make it through. I'm not gonna say we're in this together, but we are. Sorry. Let's see. Let's put a little one in here. Flux can be whatever size you want or need it to be. At least Rick's version can. I just cannot see very well. No big surprise there. All right. I'm gonna have to start having the kid do the drawing for me. Luckily, he loves to do art. Simba says hi. We had him a nice nap going, so he would be less frisky today than he was yesterday, but yeah, if you keep coming to the door, it makes it hard. If I could only see this, that would be better. All right. And as you can see with the blacking, if you have issues, then you can solve those fairly easily, which is nice. Just like that. Don't get too crazy with this though. You'll end up like me, making a bigger mess than you would have had if you just left it alone. That's definitely an issue for me. Here we go. The neighbor wanted to put grass clippings in our dumpster, so he's dragging our dumpster across the lawn. Making altogether too much noise. In fairness, it's our grass. He did our lawn for us. All right, hopefully that's all. Okay. So hopefully that will be the last of the interruptions for now, and we can get moving on this. So just take your time. Make slow, careful strokes. You want to do some overlapping, go for it. Fill in any blanks with orbs and ink. Practice drawing these teardrop shapes. Draw them everywhere. See if you can make a border. See if you can turn them into a ribbon in some way. This pattern would be very easy to make a ribbon out of. So just play and relax and let the pattern happen. Don't get all worried and upset about where it's going or what it's going to do when it gets there. Just carefully draw them into the empty spaces. I'm going to go ahead and ignore that string there. And that is fine. Remember, strings are suggestions. They're not meant to curtail your creativity. So if you want to do something or try something, then do so. Nothing is going to stop you. There are no Zentangle police that are coming to your house. You can do it however you like. Just relax and let it happen. I think if I could get the kid to try this, particularly this pattern, I could probably get him to calm down when he's mad a lot faster. But I don't think that will ever be. If you're ever agitated or upset, if you're having a panic attack, try sitting down with something to draw on and a pen. Try drawing this flux. It's incredibly relaxing. To just draw in the teardrop shapes. Fill with the orbs, ink around. if you can sit down and make yourself focus on each stroke of the pen, you won't be able to maintain your level of upset for very long. Making yourself do it can be difficult. But once you do, once you accomplish the focus, it'll help. All right, so now I've got this much. How cool is this? So now I want to challenge myself to add in Maria's version, since this should be about Maria's version, at least for me on my tile, because I love this other Flux and I could do this all day, and I want to challenge myself to do something new. So what I'm going to do is start at this very likely spot right here, and I'm going to start with Maria's version again, and this time I'm going to go up and, oops. I think I overshot my string again, but that's okay. Like so. Then I'm going to fill these in with orbs and ink around them. All right. So somebody said they were finally allowed to get together with their family. So yay, I'm so glad to hear that. I still haven't really seen anybody but my Mari and my physical therapists and all of that business. By the way, if I haven't mentioned it lately, I'm doing very well with my knee. The fact that I'm not complaining about it should be sufficient. I have bent it now past 100 degrees, so that is good. I think they only care about it if you get to like 110. I'm starting outside the home physical therapy next week, and that's not easy for me. Getting out on a regular basis like that isn't easy, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure I can do physical therapy while I'm wearing a mask, because I'm already claustrophobic in those. But again, we'll see. I'll try. I really want to rehab it enough to where I can sit crisscross again, because that's my favorite way of sitting. I can't quite bend it that far yet, so I've got some work to do still. But I am rehabbing very well. I can cross my legs and I can drive. I just don't like to. Oh, I've got that double line thing going on. Goodness. All right, that's okay. We can fix that too. Okay, so now I'm going to turn around here. Start at the top of that. All right. Okay, and so here I can either put another one, small one in, which is probably what I'm going to do, or I could just fill this all with orbs. It's entirely up to you or me or whomever. So I think what I'm going to do is come from here and put one large one in. This. So you can really fill in your string space however you like. Meaning that you can position them in whatever way you think is going to work best for you in that situation. You can go big, you can go small. There. Okay. So I'm going to respect the rest of that loop line. Doesn't bother me any that I've got extra stuff coming over. Now I've got this little section here that I also want to put a some of Maria's Flux in. It doesn't really take that long to get used to it. So I really encourage you guys that are not familiar with it to give it a try. There, and I'll put one little orb here. Okay. And see down here where I went outside the string line, that adds some visual interest to the edge there instead of just having it match exactly. So that's something fun to add if you'd like. As I come together, I'm just going to put some finishing ink touches here. Doing a good, careful job with your inking makes a big difference to how polished your final piece will be. I'm going to try to help that thing, but
maybe stuck with itself, just like me. So I can't tell. Maybe I'll do one like this. And I think I'll just leave that one. Seems to be a much better camera angle today. I apologize for the difficulties. My goal is always to try to make each one better. Sometimes I just feel like I'm phoning it in, but it's not intentional, meaning it's not a lack of effort on my part. It's just sort of how it is. I think some orbs and inking will make a good transition here between the tangles. Whoops. It's never a good sign when I say that, but it's okay. The further I get along my journey, the less those oopses get on my nerves. And that is a good thing, because that is a place of confidence. Not that I have a ton of that, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So I am loving this. I'm loving the way it looks. And so in this section, I'm trying to decide whether to add my Maria's Flux facing these or have these go side by side. So I think I'll go facing. Make it interesting to look at. You're almost done. All right. You guys, as always, don't forget to tag me on Instagram with your art. I really want to see it. I really enjoy looking at what other people have done. It amazes me that that was one of the things at seminar at CZT training that I really loved, was looking at the other certified teachers' work and from the same lessons, and enjoying the very differences that they had to mine. That is, to me, amazing that you can get the same set of instructions for the same things and have so many different results by so many different people. It astounds me sometimes. And I think it's such a cool component of Zentangle is the mosaic quality, where you can put the tiles together and make something cool out of them. So I definitely loved that about training. And so that's something that I want us to enjoy in this project. And did you know that you can on Instagram. You guys can go to my feed and look at those. I believe you can, at least look at the art of people that have tagged me with it. It's that little it's the little icon above my feed where it has the little picture on the clipboard, it looks like. I think that's what I mean. And there you can see all of the art by people who have tagged me with it. And so you'll see a lot of other people's art, which is also very cool. It's a great way to share. All right, I think that's as far as we're gonna get. Just ink in these few little spaces. Goodness. I really cannot see up close. There we go. Okay, now that is it for the ink. And I think I'm going to, right now, while I've got my pen in my hand, stick my chop in here, right here in the hole, or in the loop. There, that'll work. And let's see. Now the fun thing, while I add a couple of these little hatch marks here, the fun thing about I'm doing these backwards. What am I thinking of? What am I trying to say? I don't know anymore. Oh, okay, so the fun thing about working on a colored tile, and this is a gray colored tile, is the fact that when you shade and embellish with your charcoal pencil or your jelly roll, or in my case both, you're really going to love the result. Right now, this is very cool looking and it's great. But how much better is this about to look when I get it shaded? So to begin with, I'm going to use my Koi coloring brush pen. Goodness, I am fumble fingers today. Okay, this is my gray Koi coloring brush pen, and I am going to be looking for a set of these very soon because I've really enjoyed using this. So I'm going to start here by targeting in on the Maria's flux of all of the base elements where the lines are coming together. Remember, anywhere lines converge is a natural spot for shading. Okay, then I think I'll add just a little bit right in the corner of these, and I'll drag that around a little bit. So I don't want too much, but just a little bit. Sort of enhance those hatch marks, which got completely out of control over here. And those are upside down. That's all right though. Once this is done, nobody will notice. They're going to be fascinated with all the bright little spots of jelly roll and how pretty it all looks, and they are not going to care about this little mistake or that little stray line or any of that. We don't care. What we want is to relax and create something pretty. That's why I'm here. I hope that's why you're here. Relax and pretty. See, I think that's a great combination. I think it's something we should work into our day regularly. I did want to let you guys know that when the 100-day project is over, I'm going to be switching to probably 3 to 4 times a week, according to the YouTube consultant that I'm working with. YouTube has about a 48-hour window before they will recommend your content again. They feel like the viewer is oversaturated if you post too often, and it takes YouTube about 48 hours to decide for each video what type of viewer that they're going to send to it. And so I probably will make some changes. I think it will make my life a little bit less stressful, and I'll be able to plan better for the content that I bring you guys. See, I completely forgot that here. And I'm going to go ahead and add my shading in. And let's do that. Well, it is what it is. So many of these things, it depends on your angle. All right. All right. Put a little bit more here. There's some. And this type of thing is the reason that all of those little areas where you think, oh, these are no good, throw the tile away. This is a good example of why that does not matter. Why you should keep going. It's because by the time we get done with the shading and the highlighting and all of the different things we're going to do to this, so many of those little imperfections as we see them are going to be completely gone. All right. And I'm just sculpting these just a tiny bit. Sort of give them a rounded look. A little bit more 3D. See if I can do this without making a big mess. Okay, that wasn't bad. Okay, let's blend this part and then see where we're at. I'm going to try really hard not to use too much wet. So I'm going to use my Tombow blending pen that is colorless. Even though the tip looks pink, it is still being zapped. All right, so then I'm just going to smooth out, draw up some of the dark, blend in some of the parts that look that show edges. And see, by adding depth to the base of these, we are enhancing that impression that all of these are, I don't know, coming from inside, if you will. And so there's lots of different things. Now here, I'm going to want to be careful. Especially with these that are backwards. If I need to rub on something a little bit, I will, but I would much rather not. We are going to be able to come through here with the charcoal pen, with the white charcoal pen, and enhance some of this, and so it will detract from, or distract from, some of this other stuff. And so I will use the white charcoal to sort of blend some of these transitions from light to dark, and that will help some. But I'm going to really try not to get this too damp. Remember, if you're in too big a hurry, you can always get your hair dryer out. Put it on a warm setting. Just carefully dry the tile off. Do it on both sides so it doesn't curl up too much for you. I'm just going to smooth out this line just a little bit. Oops, sorry. And those of you who have commented about the camera angle, you're absolutely right. It's very difficult because this moves constantly to find a camera angle that that will work all the time. And so I have to constantly look up at the camera to make sure I'm still in frame, and sometimes I get involved in what I'm doing and forget to look, and yeah, sure enough, I'm not there anymore. All right. I like the way these big ones have turned out. I like the shading, the dimension that the shading has given them. Okay, let's see if we can do this without getting in trouble. Okay, that's not bad. So this is where we're at after shading with the Koi coloring brush. And now what I'm going to do is come in with my, I can either do this part with a white charcoal pencil, or I can use my Prismacolor white. That's another thing that is good to have in your toolkit. Along with some of the other things that we have is a good white Prismacolor, even if you don't use Prismacolor for other things. Prismacolor pencils, you can buy those singly in white, or in a pack of white if you want, through dickblick.com. So there we go. Or you might be able to get it that way from Amazon. We'll see. Okay, so now I'm going to take my white charcoal pencil, and I'm going to start with Rick's Flux section. Rick's Flux section. I dare you to say that 3 times. And I'm just going to rub in just a little bit of white charcoal pencil. This is from General. It's a Zentangle pencil, but you don't have to have Zentangle. You just need the white charcoal by General. That's a U.S. company. And so if you may have to get it from Zentangle if you guys have trouble finding it where you are. Zentangle does sell these as well. They try to make all of the tangling tools available to you at a fair price. And you know, speaking of the price, they have always been and will probably always be a family-run business, and so supporting them in being a small business is always a good thing. You know, we don't really want Amazon to rule the world, even though they act like they do sometimes. And I'm not saying Amazon is bad. What I'm saying is it never hurts to promote a little competition in the business world. And and you know, small businesses, and especially like Zentangle, who take such care, and they really do. Zentangle is like their child, or the Zentangle Method is like their child, and they want everything about it to be a positive experience. And so you know, I encourage you to look at it like that. If things are a little bit more expensive there, it's because they have put a lot of time and energy into picking the very best tools they could for what we were doing. And that's what they've done. And they care about their method. They care about the products that they promote. They want to be someone that you can trust. So, and I believe they are. I have heard them portrayed as like these money hungry, and that's just not it. That's just not it. So at least not in my humble opinion, for what it is worth. Okay, so see how big a difference it makes. Just a little bit of highlighting with your white charcoal pencil on this gray tile. It's huge, right? Okay, so I'm going to continue to do that. Just go along in some logical places. And blend in some highlights. If you ended up with lines where you shaded with your shadows, then this can be a real help blending the edges of that out. You can sort of smooth that all. And even just a little bit can make a big difference. And we haven't even gotten to the best part yet. In each place where you have rubbed that on, you're going to have some really nice soft highlights. Okay? So the last step is the most fun, and that is taking your jelly roll, and I am using my Jelly Roll 10. This is a white gel pen, probably one of the best white gel pens out there. It has a bright white ink, and when you're working on tan or gray tiles, this is magic. So let's watch it happen. I'm just going to go through on each one of these orbs that I have here. I'm going to put a tiny dot. If the orbs are bigger, maybe a bigger dot. And look how dynamic that is all of a sudden. All of a sudden the orbs have gone from behind to little spots of wonder all throughout here. You want to give your jelly roll time to dry if you've got a bigger spot like this. So be aware that of where you're starting with that and where your hand position is, so you don't accidentally swipe across your area. Okay. I love doing this part. I love seeing how it jumps to life. So this is like the magic part for me. This is the part of creating these tiles that is the best, most satisfying for me, is putting in the jelly roll at the very end. Isn't that cool? I love it. So just gently go through and tap a little bit of a dot onto each one of your orbs, wherever you may find them. They're like little pearls. And all of a sudden, something that might have looked sloppy before is suddenly not sloppy anymore. It's beautiful. I mean, when you look at this, you're not looking at stray lines anymore. You're looking at these little bits of bright light. Yeah. I find supreme satisfaction in this. Now, the times when this is not satisfying are when you can't get your gel pen rolling. And so that's why I recommend the number 10 for this. It just pops right out. It can get a little overwhelming if you're not careful or if you're working in a tiny space. But for doing this, this is perfect. Just tapping a tiny bit on. Okay, where did I miss? Once again, I'm going through here being very aware of not dragging my hand along anything that might be wet. There. Just one more little section here. And all those little orbs that had stray pen marks in them, suddenly gone. Simba, he's snoring so loudly. You guys have to be able to hear that. So it's nice to have him not barking. On the other hand, the snoring, Sim, the snoring. All right, just a couple more and we will be done for today. I love how this turned out. I love how peaceful I am right now. I think I got them. Let's zoom out. Take a look at what we got. I love it. I love how this turned out. So one last thing I want to do is come over here to these little dots on my chop. Like that. Now it's perfect. All right. I hope you guys are as relaxed and chilled as I am, and I hope that your tile turned out as nicely as I feel like mine did. I am always pleased when I can say that at the end of the tile. So this is my version of the two fluxes together, Maria's and Rick's version. I hope yours turned out nicely as well. Remember, if you're a beginner and you just want to focus on one or the other, that is okay. But for you experienced guys, and I know you're out there, I want you to try Maria's version if you haven't, okay? All right, guys, I'm going to see you on Instagram, right? At @thetirelesstangler, #thetirelesstangler. Come check it out. Come leave me a direct message so I can talk to you directly. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow for day 50. I always have to do this. Day 54. Wow. All right. I'll see you then.